This is Tupac, and this is also Tupac. But let's talk about Tupac first. Tupac Amaru II was an indigenous Peruvian revolutionary leader. He was born Jose Gabriel Condorcanqui Noguera around the year 1740 in what is now modern-day Peru, and later adopted the name Tupac Amaru II in honor of his ancestor Tupac Amaru, the last Incan ruler. He was a well-educated man who spoke Quechua, Spanish, and even Latin, and because of his family history, he had a certain social status that allowed him to have connections with Spanish elites. After marrying his wife, Micaela Bastidas Puyucawa in 1760, he inherited the caciqueship, or chiefdom, of the Tinta region in southern Peru from his older brother and governed on behalf of the Spanish government. Due to his position in leadership, he acted as a liaison between the local Spanish government and the indigenous population he represented, but because of drastic and sudden changes in the local economy, the region he lived in had been greatly afflicted by economic problems and rising taxes, and people were struggling financially. Even Tupac Amaru was affected and found himself in a great amount of debt despite his considerable resources. Between that and seeing how his fellow native Peruvians were being mistreated and forced into labor, he decided to do something about it and arrested and publicly executed Antonio de Arriaga, the Spanish governor of Tinta. This kicked off an indigenous rebellion against the local Spanish government, and Amaru continued his insurrection until support for his efforts waned. I also want to mention that his wife was also very involved in these rebellion efforts and was said to have been a brilliant and intelligent strategist. Unfortunately, in 1781, Amaru and members of his family were captured, and Amaru was forced to watch the brutal execution of his wife and children, and then face the same fate himself. Although his rebellion was unsuccessful at the time, Tupac Amaru II's rebellion laid the foundation for the Peruvian independence movement that occurred decades later, and independence was finally achieved in 1821, 40 years after Amaru's execution. And while the Tupac we may be more familiar with has no relation to the Inca rulers, he was named after Tupac Amaru II. His mother, Afeni Shakur, gave the following reason for why she gave her son this incredibly unique name. I wanted him to have the name of revolutionary indigenous people in the world. I wanted him to know he was a part of a world culture and not just from a neighborhood. Now, after learning a bit about his namesake, do you think Tupac Amaru was a fitting name for the late rapper? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. My name is Marissa, and I hope you learned something.